Assalamu alaikum students, I am Ahsan Abdullah Patel. In this video I am discussing quadrilaterals. Some students asked me to make this video. Quadrilateral basically is a figure having four sides and four angles. I am not discussing the special quadrilaterals. I am only discussing basic quadrilateral. What is basically a quadrilateral? Quadrilateral has four corners, that is A, B, C, D. It has four sides and four angles. The sum of angles will always be equals to 360 degree. Angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D, and the sum of exterior angles is also 360 degree. Now I will discuss some special kinds of quadrilaterals. So first of all, the first quadrilateral I am going to discuss is a square. So basically this is the shape of a square. I have given the names. Side 1, basically S1 is AB, S2 is the length of BC, S3 is the length of CD, and S4 is the length of AD. D1 is the diagonal joining A and C. D2 is the diagonal joining opposite vertices, that is B and D. So in square we can see that S1, S2, S3 and S4 all are equal. It is also known as a regular quadrilateral, because all the sides and all the angles are equal. So all the angles are equals to 90 degree. In the diagram we can also see that S1 and S3 are parallel, S2 and S4 are parallel. That is, if this is S1 and this is S3, and if this is S2 and this is S4, then these must be equal. That is, this is S1, this is S2, this is S3, this is S4. So opposite sides are parallel while the adjacent sides are perpendicular to each other. That S1 is perpendicular to S2, S2 is perpendicular to S3, S3 is perpendicular to S4, and once again S4 is perpendicular to S1. The diagonals are perpendicular as well. That these two diagonals, that is D1 and D2, are also perpendicular to each other, and these two diagonals bisects as well, that is meeting at the midpoint of each other. Now another type of a quadrilateral, that is rhombus. This is the shape of rhombus, and these things are same from the square. We can see that the sides are equal in rhombus, all four sides are equal, but diagonals are not the same, because B is nearer to D while C is not nearer to A, because it is more far from A than D to B. In this rhombus, the opposite angles are the same, that is angle A equals to angle C, these two angles are opposite, and angle B equals to angle D, that is these two angles are opposite. The opposite sides are parallel while the diagonals are also perpendicular, just like in square, and the diagonals always bisect each other. Two angles are obtuse and two angles are acute. What is basically acute or what is basically obtuse? Basically obtuse angle is basically greater than 90 degree, while the acute angle is less than 90 degree. Now parallelogram. Parallelogram, just in every quadrilateral we have side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4, and diagonal 1, diagonal 2. The opposite sides are equal, that is side 1, side 3 and side 2, side 4 are equal as well as parallel. The opposite angles are equal. The opposite angles are equal, and two angles are obtuse and two angles are acute, just like in rhombus. And just like other quadrilaterals I have discussed, the diagonals always bisect each other, that is meeting at the same point, that is the midpoint. One thing I should tell you, that the diagonals are not perpendicular in this diagram, okay? Likewise in square and rectangle the diagonals were perpendicular, but here the diagonals are not perpendicular. Now I am discussing rectangle. Rectangle has four sides, just like other quadrilaterals. And I have mentioned this before as well. the opposite sides are equal as well as parallel, and all the angles here must be 90 degree. That is, the adjacent sides are always perpendicular to each other. All the sides are perpendicular to each other, adjacent sides, and all the angles are equals to 90 degree, and the diagonals are equal as well, but diagonals are not perpendicular. And just like in the previous quadrilaterals I have discussed, that diagonals bisect each other, that is at the midpoint. Trapezium is basically a four-sided figure. It is special because any two opposite sides are parallel. For suppose in this diagram S1 and S3 are parallel, but if S2 and S4 are parallel, it will also be known as trapezium. So trapezium has only single special property, that is the two opposite sides, any two opposite sides are parallel. But rather in other quadrilaterals like a square, rhombus, parallelogram and rectangle, the opposite sides are always parallel. Another special quadrilateral is trapezoid, or rather we can say a special kind of trapezium. It has four vertices, four angles, four sides, side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4 and two diagonals. So the special thing about trapezoid is that the diagonals are equal, that is D1 and D2 are equal and they bisect each other. If side 1 and side 3 are parallel, in this diagram we can see that side 1 and side 3 are parallel. So if these two sides are parallel, trapezoid says that the other two sides are non-parallel. We know that in trapezium, but the special condition for trapezoid is that the non-parallel sides are equal. So in the case of S2 parallel to S4, then the non-parallel sides S1, S3 becomes equal. Okay, so in this side and this side must be equal, and the sum of angles, opposite angles, is always 180 degree because these two lines are parallel, and because these sides are equal, therefore their angles must be equal. That is, angle A and angle B are equal, angle C and angle D are equal. The diagonals are equal as well. So this is the special kind of quadrilateral, trapezoid. Another type of quadrilateral is kite. You may have flown this in your early childhood. And in this diagram, because it is a quadrilateral, we have side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4, diagonal 1, diagonal 2. It is a special type of quadrilateral because some points you have to be cleared of. That the diagonals are not equal. One diagonal is longer, one diagonal is smaller, but the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Two adjacent sides pairs are equal. So basically side 1 and side 2 is a pair, adjacent sides pair. Side 3 and side 4 is also another adjacent sides pair. So this must be equal, that is S1 equals to S2 while S3 equals to S4. In this diagram we must know that if, for example, we have side 1 side 2 equal and side 3 side 4 equal, it may be side 2 side 3 equal and side 1 side 4 equal. And in kite, any one pair of opposite angle will always be equal. In this diagram, this angle is basically equals to this angle, or in might be other cases vice versa can happen. Diagonal 1 and diagonal 2 always bisects the opposite angles, that is that the diagonal 2 in this diagram have bisected these two angles and this angle. So the angle B and angle D are bisected. So for suppose if angle A and angle C are equal, then angle B and angle D will be bisected by the diagonal. And if angle B and angle D are equal, then angle A and angle C will be bisected by the diagonal. So in this case, I should rather write or here instead of and, because in this case diagonal 2 is bisecting the angles B and D, because A and C are same. And you can clearly see that these two triangles, that ABD and CBD, are always congruent, because this angle is equals to this angle, that is angle A equals to angle C. I should write here that angle A is congruent to angle C, while angle D is congruent to angle D, angle B is congruent to angle B, and in the end that D2 is equals to D2. Therefore, by using side angle side, these two triangles are congruent. So kite has two triangles in it, that is two congruent triangles. So I have discussed the quadrilaterals with you. Somehow I have discussed all of the points regarding quadrilateral, different quadrilaterals, that is square, rhombus, rectangle, parallelogram, trapezium, trapezoid, kite. And I hope so that you must have learned something in this lecture. So keep supporting me, keep watching my videos. If you find any of the problem, you may ask me through commenting. I have to repeat it thousands of many times. So you may ask me through commenting or by WhatsApp number. Keep liking my videos. Thank you so much for your kind support. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.